It's the Eastern Conference on display, featuring the Boston Celtics. Well, what better way to spend a Monday night than with the 2K Sports team and the end. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, here's what the Celtics head coach had to say when we spoke just a few minutes ago. I asked him what their focal point would be defensively, and he said that Al Jefferson is at the top of their scouting report. With his smooth, low-post repertoire and mid-range shooting touch, he can put up points in a hurry. He said they'll try to steer him to his left hand as much as possible and just hope for the best. Kevin, we'll see if they can force him into a tough night.
And thank you, Doris. The Celtics shooting their first foul shots of the night here.
The Bobcats, one of the worst teams in the league over the last couple of seasons, actually had the worst winning percentage ever back in 11-12. But they've made a commitment to rebuilding through the draft, and clearly when you do that, there's going to be some pain along the way.
Charlotte making a switch here. Sessions is checked in. Clock at 6. Back to Gordon. With the shot. Nice fake there to create the shot, but it's no good. Pulls it from the elbow. And it goes. That's good. And while we're thinking about him, did you guys catch his comments at the press conference after their last game?
He's clearly a big-picture guy. I mean, it isn't really what he's done, but what the team has done. It's all about wins with this kid, and you have to respect that.
He's a competitor, no doubt about that. I mean, he doesn't go out and try to make friends or make highlights. He just comes in with one agenda, and that's just to win the basketball game every night.
And back to the Bobcats. Steve, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel for him?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. They brought in a new coach in Steve Clifford, who's well-regarded. They signed Al Jefferson. So I think they're going to be better. I think they'll win more games, but they're still a ways away from being a playoff team. They've got to continue to build this roster, be patient, and try to put themselves in position to win.
Lets it go. Offensive rebound. Here's Kid Gilchrist. Some solid defense from Bass.
Usually, if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
And out of bounds as the Bobcats gain possession. Well, over the course of the last 10 games, these big men have been the NBA's best at the charity stripe. In third, Al Jefferson.
Well, a lot of these big men take the confidence they have in the paint straight to the free throw line.
Yep, some of them do that, exactly, and we can see the reason why in those numbers. In general, the composure of all those players show up at the free throw line.
Olenek, he's checked in for the Celtics. Rondo comes in for Chris Humphries. Sessions against Rondo. Sessions, no good.
Just getting on the court last season was a big triumph for Jeff Green, who was forced to sit out a year after undergoing heart surgery. You look at how he progressed over the season, and he got better with each month. Really inspirational.
He dishes it to Bradley. He passes to D. Takes a three. Green kicks to Bradley. The pass to D. Nice ball movement by Boston. Tries again. He hits the back iron and sinks the shot. D's got 5 points so far. Going back to Jeff Green, the Celtics had to be encouraged to see the way he progressed as last season went on.
I thought last year was good for him. He emerged confidence-wise. He seemed to take on a bigger role in Boston. And I think he started to justify that 4-year contract he signed with the Celtics.
Gordon kicks to Sessions. Fires from deep. And yes, sir, that one drops. Sessions has got his first 3 points of the game.
You know, even though he doesn't really have the long-range ability on a consistent level, he can knock down some open ones.
Rondo kicks to Lee. Passes it to Green. Back to Lee. Feeds it to Rondo. The dish now to Olenek. Outside Rondo. Pass to deep. From deep. Can't hit. Looking at the last game for the Charlotte Bobcats, it was a loss to Milwaukee.
And it wasn't just bad shooting. They weren't getting good looks. The offense wasn't clicking. No ball movement. Very stagnant performance.
Yeah, I agree. The reason for that, I think, was their movement away from the ball. Not very crisp.
Henderson kicks to Walker. Here's Biyombo. Green with the rebound. Here's Rondo. His last outing, he had 8 points. He feeds it to Green. He gets it up. He got it up that time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Bobcats out in front. D, defended by Gordon, fires, high post, and so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two. And getting back to the Celtics and Rondo's injury, a lot of people expected them to start the rebuilding process. Ended up standing pat at the deadline, Steve, even though there was, it seemed, a lot of interest.
You know, you want to give that group, KG and Pierce and Rondo, you want to give them another run. And they had their last hurrah. They didn't get it finished. And now you start the rebuilding project. So a lot of trades, a lot of movement over the summer. But I like the fact that they gave that club one more run.
On the floor for Boston. D in a two-guard. Brandon Bass is out there with Green. Then there's Avery Grant. And it's Brooks in at the three spot. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, gentlemen, D in their last game against the Hawks was a major factor. He picked up 18 points and had active hands on the defensive side of things as well, coming up with some key steals. Overall, just an incredible bonus for his team as he made a big impact coming off the bench.
All right, Doris. Well, guys, coming off a performance like that has got to have him supremely confident right now.
Well, that never seems to be a problem for him, but you're right, Kevin. He has to be feeling at the top of his game right now.
Well, when you play well, it feeds confidence, and when you've prepared to play well and it works out that way, it does add another level of confidence to your next game.
Here's Jefferson, and Boston with the rebound. They're coming into this game off that recent loss to Atlanta.
Yeah, they gave away a lot of points at the free throw line in that game. Maybe it was being on the road. Maybe they were just out of sync, but something had them rattled.
Steve, I don't know if it was the biggest reason for that loss, but clearly the misses from the stripe had an impact.
Here's Zeller. Green with the block. Brooks outside. He passes to D. With the lead pass, Bass. The lead pass was put in just the right spot. Bass has got 6.
Beautiful lead pass there. He let his teammate run right underneath him.
Sessions passes to Gordon. There's the feed to Kid Gilchrist. Back to Gordon. And once again, off the mark by Charlotte. Celtics trail by 4.
Well, you look at Ben Gordon, guys, a pure shooter, clearly. Can spot up, pull up. However he gets his shot off, you expect it to go in.
Sessions gets a screen from Jefferson. Sessions dishes to Jefferson. That falls. Great assist by Ramon Sessions. And that's now 6 points for Al Jefferson.
And I'll say this about him, Kevin. I mean, it looks like he's made of rubber sometimes because defenders just bounce off him when he's driving the lane. What a finisher.
And Steve, you know, he's also got the full arsenal of moves in the post. I mean, you can't believe how many tricks this guy has up his sleeves. He's full of them.
And going back to Ben Gordon, Clark, you called him a pure shooter, but he doesn't bring a whole lot else, does he, Steve?
Well, he's limited offensively. You know he can shoot and score, but not really a playmaker. And he's not big enough to post up, and he's not a great defender. But you know what he is. He's a scorer, and I think he's ideally suited to bring off the bench because of it.
Now the pass to D. Lets the 3 fly. Boston again missing.
Not sure why he's insisting on shooting from out there. It's just not working for him right now.
Gerald Henderson coming off his best season, guys. Three-point shooting was one of his weaknesses, and he made a huge leap in that area. Shot around 37% from the arc. Much better than his first 3 seasons.
Well, going back to Henderson, and then the three-point shot, despite his improvement, not one he leaned on that heavily.
Well, that's smart, because if you're not a great three-point shooter, you've got to be very...
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Now let's go straight to the Monday Night Halftime Report.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Zeller kicks to Gordon. Right side, Gordon. Dishes it to Pargo. Shoots. Rebound, Boston. Their last encounter was in Boston.
Yeah, they really had their number in that game. Big margin of victory for them. They got there by really including their bench. The depth became a major factor. They just wore them down.
At the 3, MKG and Cody Zeller at the 4. Ben Gordon out there with Pargo, and it's Haywood in at the center position. So that's the group out there for Charlotte. Gets it to go. And the Bobcats lead by 13.
Whatever their plan was defensively that time, it didn't work. Not if it results in that shot.
What Steve just talked about regarding how much they spread their scoring around was probably the most striking thing about that big win.
And the fact that they did have such a huge lead allowed them to even use their bench a little more than normal, and that was something that served them well.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, Al Jefferson signed a 3-year, $40 million contract with the Bobcats this summer. He said growing up in small-town Prentiss, Mississippi, it's no problem for him playing in a small market, and he loves the fit with the team. Coach talked about the impact he can have, saying, quote, the toughest thing to do is execute in the half-court offense. But when you have a guy like Al, it makes it a lot easier. Guys?
Sure does. Thanks, Doris. Some changes for Boston. Chris Humphries has checked in for Green. Lee comes in for Avery Bradley. And Jordan Crawford is subbed in for Rajon Rondo.
You know, when you have a season that the Bobcats had last year, it's easy to look at a number of low points, but perhaps the lowest point was being down by 50 points to the Thunder in the game early in the season. And that one's hard to swallow. Well, you've got to like the focus that they're showing here in the second half. I see a lot more effort as well. I mean, it's amazing when you lock in mentally and bring some energy and intensity, things can pick up in a positive way for you.
Jefferson kicks to Walker. Charlotte moving the ball around. Pargo misses. And as you said, Clark, to be down 50 points to any team really is a low point for a team, and could sum up the Bobcat season last year. Just too little offense and, Steve, not enough defense.
How about that combination, Kevin? Too little offense, not enough defense. I think that usually will signify a poor season.
Here's D. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way.
These defenders are not putting up much of a fight on the interior.